Hello, book clubbers and lovers of Shirtless Dudes. I'm Ben Bauer, and this is Shirtless Dudes Book Club. Yay! Before I introduce my guest, I just wanted to say that I'm super excited about the book that we are talking about tonight. Part of the reason that I love reading so much is that you get to experience stories and vicariously live through stories that you are so far removed from, and this book is definitely one of those for me. And it was really great to get to live their life for a minute, and it's a really beautiful story. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest today. You might recognize him on The People's Couch on Bravo. He is actually also a singer and songwriter and a recovering child star. I have with me tonight Blake McIver.
Hello!
Hello!
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, everybody!
Talking books.
Yay!
Oh, and there's all these hearts coming now.
Oh, good.
Oh, jeez. They love you.
Oh,
they love
good,
you.
good.
So, Blake, how are you doing?
Very well.
Fantastic. Happy National Women's Day.
International
Women's Day. And happy International Women's Day to all you at home. What book did you choose for us this week?
I chose one of my favorite books of all time, The Color Purple by Alice Walker.
Fantastic.
Oh, look, they've got two different versions. I went looking for my first edition, which I think my mother has right now.
Ooh, you fancy.
I know.
You fancy. Okay, do you want to just dive right in?
Yeah, let's.
Fantastic.
Shall we do it?
Let's.
Let's.
Which I think that means...
Oh, that means we have to take our shirts off.
Yeah, that means it's the shirtless time.
Here we go.
I'm sure you guys are going to be really upset about.
Woo!
Buy shirts. Great. So, when I have guests on the show, I like to ask them 4 questions about the book that they bring in. The first of which is, for the folks at home who maybe have not read The Color Purple, could you give them brief... How dare you? Could you please give them a brief synopsis of the book?
Yes. The Color Purple is an amazing story. It is a book that's told all in letter form, which I read. It's like epistolary something. There's a great word.
I don't know.
It's fine. It's very biblical. But it's about the story of a woman who basically life just throws every horrible thing at her from the time she's 14 years old at the entry point of the book until she's an elder woman by the end of the book. Mm-hmm. And it is the story of her journey into loving herself despite abuse and what she thinks is the death of her sister and the separation of her children and just a lesbian relationship. And I mean, seriously, to like all come back around to her finding love for herself.
Yes.
Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah. Oh, that was so sweet. Fantastic. Question number 2 is what is your connection to this book? Like, what made you feel like you wanted to talk about this with us today?
What, you don't think that like a book about black women in Georgia in the 1930s you don't see the correlation? Because that's weird. Okay.
I know, it's very strange.
No, the real answer to that question is for Alice Walker, when she talks about this book, she's very clear that this is a theological text, not just a piece of fiction. And that's what resonates with me. The whole kind of thesis of this book is it's a search for God, and it's not you find God not where you think you were going to find God in this book, and it's very much she wrote it as an homage to her ancestors. So it's about nature, it's about your past, it's about your ancestry. And so for me, it's actually not to be like super cheesy about it, but like for me, this is kind of my religious text of choice. Like
wow.
This is, I know, it's really intense. Some people have the Bible.
That is very intense.
I have The Color Purple. Well, it did.
I love that.
It opened up a sort of new idea for me about like what I believe in the universe and what I believe in, how I view spirituality.
I really love how you were talking about how it's nature, it's all that stuff, because throughout the book she's writing pretty much all of her letters to God. All of the letters that Seeley writes start out "Dear God," until shit goes down. She goes way south. So then she starts writing letters to her sister Nettie. Doesn't know if she's ever going to get them. It's just she can't write to God anymore because things got terrible.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the book, I just really love how this last letter starts. It starts, "Dear God, dear stars, dear trees, dear sky, dear peoples, dear everything, dear God."
I
And
did a lip sync with that.
oh my gosh!
I know. Hello, it's because this is the Bible.
Crazy.
I'm telling you.
It's a really, really beautiful book.
No, it's gorgeous. I was rereading my favorite letters because that's I call them letters, not chapters, and like literally this morning, just crying at the breakfast table, like sobbing. I was like, I've read this book 7 times. Like, why am I crying?
I finished reading this book last night, and I definitely there were a few tears.
Yeah.
There were a couple.
Yeah.
By a couple, I mean like a good half hour of just wailing,
just sobs.
just ugly girl crying. Fantastic. Question number 3.
Yes.
Do you have a particular passage or event in the book that really stands out to you?
There's a couple for me in this particular book. The moment when Celie and Shug, Shug Avery, if you will, she is a jazz singer that comes into Celie's life and is the ex-girlfriend of Celie's husband. It's confusing. Yeah, Mr. Albert. I'm just going to call him Albert because we're at the end of the book. So we're going to be empowered and we're going to just call him Albert. So Albert's ex-girlfriend, Shug Avery, comes into town, and Celie and Shug have this amazingly beautiful relationship. And the first time they sort of consummate, we'll keep this PG.
Keep it
13.
Family's
13.
watching. I think my family might be watching this. So.
I'm sure my family is.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful thing. It's this sort of moment of like pure love that's the first time Celie experiences sexual love in a pure form because she was raped by the man who she thought was her father, turns out was her stepdad. She's basically abused by Mr. and I would say raped every time.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not even
She's not a willing participant.
No, she was basically sold into a marriage with him. And so it's just this beautiful moment about 2 humans coming together in such an organic way that is just, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think around that time, it's way before that. One of my favorite parts is a moment when Shug and Celie have become very good friends, and Celie confides about like all of her sexual history and like everything that has happened, and so Shug asks her, so like you've never enjoyed it, like you've never had a good time, and she's like, nope, never,
nope,
I don't think so, and so Shug says, oh, so you're still a virgin, which in my head is giving Celie the power to tell her own story. And you know what? You're right. Like, I have never once enjoyed myself doing this, and I am not going to live that as my truth anymore. I'm going to find what it means to me to lose my virginity. And I thought that was a really beautiful, beautiful moment in the story as well. Happy International Women's Day.
Indeed.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there any other moment that you would like to share?
The Easter Sunday moment is probably my second favorite. When fair. Sophia finally comes back to life in the most beautiful, fabulous way. I live for it. I live for it in the book. I live for it in the movie. I live for it in the musical. Every incarnation of that moment of the story is so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love Sophia's character so much. She starts out as this really brass and ballsy woman, and then is pretty beaten down.
Completely beaten
by
down. White people.
White people. I mean, there's no way around it.
Because she doesn't let Harpo beat her.
No. And then seeing her resurgence it's really beautiful. You see her get back to the person that she used to be. And it's really, really powerful. And also kind of proudly wearing the scars of her experience too, because it's she's still blind in one eye. Yeah. Fact. She's still, she still literally is wearing the scars of the past, but doing it in a way that she's come back into her own, and I just think that's beautiful. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that. We are on to question number 4. Oh. Blake McIver. Yes. You have 30 seconds to convince the people who are watching from the comfort of their couches why should they read The Color Purple. All right. And go. So you might be sitting at home thinking, why do I need to pick up this book and actually read it? I could watch the Steven Spielberg movie. I could fly to New York and see the Broadway show playing right now starring Jennifer Hudson and Cynthia Erivo. Why should I actually sit down and take the time to read this book? Because this text is gorgeous and full of life-affirming passages that will literally change your life. I will stand by this. Not a money-back guarantee because I'm not the publisher, but
I dare you to read this book and not be moved and to not think about yourself in a different way, be empowered to do something different in your own life, to change something about yourself that maybe you've wanted to change and have been too afraid to change. It's all in here.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's like a hard sell, but
I might buy another copy and read it again.
Buy a hardback.
Because that sell was so good. Wow.
I don't know if it was 30 seconds.
I mean, no, you definitely went over 30 seconds,
sorry.
but like whatever. I wasn't going to cut you off. It was really great. Blake, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. This has been so much fun.
I'm so glad. And thank everyone for watching.
Yes,
I
thank
hope
you all
you guys
for tuning
enjoyed
in.
yourself. I hope you guys pick up The Color Purple by Alice Walker. And yeah, hope you'll join me next week. Bye.